Ready.
All right, good evening, everyone. We're going to call the Wabash City School Board meeting for Monday, October 26th to order. Before we start tonight, I'd like to ask everybody to join me in a moment of silence for Katie Sindelbach, fourth grade student from OJ Neighbors that was recently taken from us way too soon. So if you please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Roll call.
Present.
Okay, would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? We don't have a flag, so everybody face the east. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We begin every school board meeting by reading the Wabash City Schools mission. Wabash City Schools provides a relevant and rigorous education founded upon relationships to ensure each student is college and career ready for success in the global community. I'd like to welcome everybody. Any recognitions? No? All right, there are no revisions to tonight's agenda. Item H, consent agenda. We have minutes from our October 5th, 2020 meetings. Minutes of the October 9th, 2020 meeting, some claims, donations, and financials. So the motion to approve the consent agenda. Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second, discussion.
Yeah, Mr. Galley's on the Zoom. Mr. Galley, you mind unmuting, maybe talking about the donation of the 1958, the book to Adelaide Baylor Library?
Yeah, absolutely. Several weeks back, I got a message from Pat Lynn in the community, and she had stated that she had this book that the author, who was a former Wabash grad, had wanted to donate to the library. So set up a time, and she brought in, and Dr. Arthur W. Dio, 1958, I believe it was, graduate of Wabash High School, went on to Taylor University, sent us find the right mirror here, sent his graduation photo for us to see. Went to Taylor University, was very involved with music while he was at Taylor, and got hooked up with Youth for Christ while he was at Taylor. Graduated from Taylor, actually went to the University of Illinois following that, and became a nuclear scientist and was working for the Atomic Commission. And so he was on task to get his PhD in nuclear science. And one of his friends who was in a position at Youth for Christ asked him if he would become one of their directors. And at that point in time, he says in his book, he did a lot of soul searching and gave up everything and went to work for Youth for Christ and went for a calling. And since that time, he has recruited and sent out over 200 plus missionaries, has been in 81 countries, still works for Youth for Christ. He's on their, what they term legacy division, and he has written their history. And I had talked with Aaron French and asked Aaron if he knew him, and Aaron himself did not, but went and talked to some of his superiors, and they were very well aware of Art Dio and what he has done for Youth for Christ. So we have this amazing book about this amazing individual who truly has made an impact in the lives of just hundreds and hundreds of people, not just in Indiana and the United States, but the world itself. It's really an interesting story. I have been in contact with him personally. We've been communicating through Facebook Messenger. He is just ecstatic that this is happening. I've invited him back. He said he doesn't know if he'll ever be back because he's getting up there in years. He lives out in Colorado, but very, very pleased and very happy to have his book in the Adelaide Baylor Library.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for sharing that and being with us tonight.
You bet.
Financials, Mr. Stone?
We're right on target, and of course, we'll get all caught up in December. They will start to adjust our numbers, but since I got lucky and guessed right about exactly where we were, the amount we're getting from the state will barely change starting next month. So then when our tax draw comes in December, we'll end the year probably pretty close to zero in the other two funds, but the education fund will be fine. So those numbers are right on target.
Rather be lucky than good. Any?
It is rather to be lucky than good.
Yeah. Thank you. That's all I have.
All right. Any questions on the consent agenda from the board? If not, all those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item I, the next regular scheduled board meeting will be Monday, November 16th, 2020 at Wabash City Hall, 202 South Wabash Street, Wabash, Indiana at 6 p.m. We have a few items of communication for the various buildings. There's no old business. New business, item A, project update by Hagerman.
Weber, Stephanie?
Thank you. No drone video update for everyone as we just took the board on all of our projects. We started at the Pullman Gym. We had a lot of questions about just general schedule. So just to give everyone an update, the Pullman Gym is scheduled to be finished middle to early February. The connector between middle school and high school is on schedule to be completed in March. And the perimeter here will be completed August of this year for school. Next year for school. So that was really kind of a general update unless anybody has questions about the projects. I think we answered most of the board questions on our tour today, and we'll reconvene our normal board updates when we're back at City Hall.
Any questions from
Thank you.
anyone?
Thanks
Thanks again for the tour of the facilities and projects today. All right, item B, approve the attached resolutions to adopt the school bus replacement plan and the capital project plan. Do I have a motion to approve? Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second, discussion?
Mr. Stone?
These are the same plans that we approved earlier when we had the hearing. As I said then, the bus replacement plan is pretty good for us because this year it doesn't involve us buying a new bus or leasing a new bus, so that certainly helps our operations this year. But it's just a basic 5-year, when the bus hits 12 years old and we're supposed to replace it. That doesn't mean we do replace it, we haven't always, but that is the plan. And then the capital projects plan is really basic. With tax cap hits, we haven't put anything extra in it. It is basic roof replacement plan and floor replacement plan, which we're probably behind on the floor replacement. I'll be the first to tell you that if we get the tax cap hits that they tell us we're going to get, that's the first thing we pick out, is we don't do it. And so we try to put some of that in our projects. We've got the roofing all done, mostly through the last few projects. And so it's very basic. We put nothing fluffy in it because we know we're not going to have the money. So if tax cap hits come, it's the first thing that we take out. We have to tell them what we're taking out of our plan. So it's very basic. Both of them are very basic.
Any questions from the board? If not, all those in favor of approving, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item C, approve recommendation to pass the teacher appreciation grant policy as required by Indiana code. Have a motion, do we have a second? Second. Motion is second, discussion?
Yeah, just like the recommendation states, it's required by code. You've done this every year for the last several. It's the same policy that we've had in the past, but they just require us to approve it every year before we could distribute those funds.
Any questions? Not all those in favor of approving the recommendation, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item D, approve recommendation for a $2,000 sign-on bonus for Uraima Rodriguez, the new second grade DLI Spanish teacher at OJ Neighbors. Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second, discussion.
Yeah, and so we have built into our contract these signing bonuses, and especially for hard to find positions like our Spanish dual language immersion programming. Obviously, many of our teachers we've sought out in Spain. We don't have a Spanish-speaking population in Wabash, and so it's not so simple to find Spanish-speaking English teachers. And so we add these stipends or these signing bonuses. And I also want to take a moment to thank Mrs. Delgadillo for her work to bring, it's actually Dr. Rodriguez to OJ Neighbors. And so she's coming to us from Spain, and we'll be teaching the second grade DLI.
Is she here on a 3-year program?
Yes.
Any questions from the board? Not, all those in favor of approving the recommendation, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item E, approve recommendation to offer Alex Parnan a teacher contract now that he has obtained his emergency permit and slot A of the 2020-2021 master contract starting October 26, 2020 for the remaining 132 student days and any additional teacher work days.
So moved.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion, second, discussion.
Yeah, and again, as you remember, we had a husband and wife team that were coming from Spain for second and third grade, but because of visa issues due to COVID, they restricted that and they were unable to get here. And so we found a couple of teachers from the States that didn't necessarily have the credentialing. Mr. Parnan has done a fantastic job in third grade and has worked to get this emergency permit. So once they have that emergency permit, we will start paying them teacher pay, and that's what item E is doing.
All those in favor of approving the recommendation, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item F, approve the following ECA positions for OJ Neighbors for the 2020-2021 school year. Overseeing tutoring programs, Beth Philippi, mentor teacher, Jen Lane, Wabash County Promise lead teacher, Susan Kefeber, Amy Copeland, Stacy Fry, and Rachel McWhirter. Building information liaison, Jennifer Lane. iRead stipend, Stacy Fry. Paraprofessional supervisor, Stacy Fry.
So moved.
The motion, do we have a second? Second. Motion, second, discussion.
And again, all these contract or all these positions are in our contract. F and G, I think I said in my board update that G was not. It is just some reason on the recommendation it got another recommendation. So really, all of those are in the contract. These are just approving those individuals to fulfill that contract position. And I certainly want to thank all those individuals for filling those positions.
All those in favor of approving the positions, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item G, approve recommendation for Ann Eddingfield and Jen Lane as robotics club sponsors at OJ Neighbors. Motion and a second, discussion.
Again, same thing. It's in the contract. We're just approving those individuals. Thank you to Ann and Jim.
All those in favor of approving the recommendation, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item H, approve recommendation to accept a grant in the amount of $1,000 from the Audubon Society Incorporated in support of Wabash Middle School Sustainability and Conservation Learning Initiative. Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion, second, discussion.
And maybe when Mr. Mattern's update, he may talk a little bit more about this, but I think Brody Cook, Mr. Cook, has been really a driver of this sustainability effort at Wabash Middle School. And so kudos to him. Thank him, appreciative for his work to get those grants and continue to build sustainability at the middle school.
All those in favor of approving the recommendation, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item I, approve the following WHS course fees for 2020-2021. Licensed online courses at $5 per course per semester. Japanese 1 at $10.75 per semester. Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second, discussion?
Yeah, and these were positions that were kind of added late as far as the financial piece of them. And so we're just playing a little catch up on the online courses. And then also, we secured that Japanese teacher late in the year. So
All those in favor of approving the recommendation, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item J, approve the following coaches for the 2020-2021 school year. There's several, so I would accept a motion to approve all at once. Motion and a second, discussion?
just thank everybody for their time and service and providing mentorship and guidance to our kids.
All those in favor of approving the coaches, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And one abstention. All right. Items from superintendent.
Hagerman left, but again, thank you to both Adam and Stephanie for all the work that Hagerman has done for Wabash City Schools. Really, I mean, when you think about the scope of all those projects and how long we worked on devising them, Barton Code drew them up, that they're all on track. Obviously, Alumni Field has been completed, but as you saw and heard tonight, that the corridor between middle school and high school, Kuhlman Gymnasium, and then LH Carpenter are all on schedule. And again, we just really applaud their partnership. When we sat down and we interviewed Hagerman, we really felt like their mission matched up with our mission. And they have not let us down. I think Kathy Wilson talked a little bit about this facility and about working with the site supervisor, which is so important, because it's one thing for Jason Callahan or Adam Whitmer, who's not on site, to know what's going on, but obviously Mrs. Wilson and Jeff, the site superintendent, are here every day, and so they're able to make adjustments every day, and Kathy's able to say what she needs for her preschool and kindergartners. And I think that's been a huge part of that partnership, is just that ability to work closely together and on the ground floor. I feel like, again, you're going to spend that much money. You wanted something at the end of the day. This is what we wanted. We don't want, 6, 8, 12 months from now to be able to walk away and have something completely. So I just applaud them on their professionalism and their willingness to work with all of our buildings. Obviously, we had fall break. There were some positive cases. We've gone 12 weeks, and we've seen an uptick in COVID cases across the county, across the state of Indiana. We are going to do everything in our power to keep kids safe, to keep our doors open. We had talked, principals and I had talked a little bit today about maybe sending out something, just what are those steps in case we are not able to do. And obviously, with everything else in this pandemic, it's stay tuned. Things are changing. It's everybody's first pandemic, and we have to make changes often. So I'll roll that right into, obviously, I think we have some individuals here due to volleyball. I would say, again, for all those here that are representing the volleyball team, like I said in my letter, I certainly apologize, and my heart goes out to Coach Cromer, to Coach Montgomery, to the volleyball team, to parents. I completely understand, as a father of a son who lost his spring season. I understand the loss. I know it was under different circumstances. We've had those conversations, but it is still loss. And I'm sorry. Our goal is always keeping students safe. At the end of the day, it's keeping students safe. And so, like I said, And like I said in the letter, like I said to several of you when I met with you, I'm sorry. We appreciate everything you guys did, the blood, sweat, and tears, all the hard work. I know we have one of the greatest volleyball programs in the area, and it's because of you guys. It's because of our coaching staff. We are very, very proud of everything you guys have done. And no decision takes away from what you did. And certainly, as I said, the three young ladies who I met with, I think you can take a lot of pride in the fact that you guys worked incredibly hard and believed in each other and believed in your coaches to get it done that night. And I applaud you for that. And that's something you can hold on to for the rest of your life. And so I appreciate everything you guys have done for Wabash City Schools and the community, and for your teammates and your coaches. And like I said, I am terribly sorry that the season ended like it did. With that being said, I just want to congratulate all our other athletic programs on their seasons and the hard work of those athletes. And as you know, winter's around the corner, and winter sports are going to be starting soon enough. Again, as Ms. Veit said, Kuhlman Gymnasium is going to be opening up here soon. I think, Mr. Stone, you said practice tomorrow in Kuhlman. And so when you walk in there, it's obviously vastly different than it's ever looked, with a balcony, and really, really impressed with that. And so I think that's all I have for this evening.
All right. Items from Chief Business Officer.
One thing I have is that today's resolution really ends budget season for me. I believe that because of how tight things are, we really know what we're going to get already. The only thing we don't know is the tax cap thing. So we're going to get our max levy on our operations fund. We'll get our debt, our education numbers. We're, I guess, right on. So we'll be solid there. In the past, the tax cap hit has been anywhere from 90% of what they projected to as low as 50. And they projected $550,000. So I'm hoping for that 50. So that we won't know probably until December when we go. But everything else is done and submitted, and now we just wait. So,
Thank you,
fingers
Mr. Stone,
crossed.
on that too.
Thank you. Thanks for your work on that.
Yep.
Items from visitors.
Yeah, you told me I got to go first tonight, so this is one of my favorite weeks each year for the high school. Our student council sponsors a food drive for fish, and it's always, we have tremendous support from our students as well as our faculty members and community members. One of our students, his family has a storefront downtown, and they've been collecting goods to donate as well. So I know fish has been very complimentary in the past. As far as the quantity that we are able to generate, I know that it's good right back into the community to support those people who need those, especially in this difficult time. So fish food drive this week. Also, Mayor's Youth Council. I think Mayor did an awesome job with our youth and trying to include them in decision making and things like that. So when we first took office, started the Mayor's Youth Council, and with the uncertainty of the school year and the reentry, we delayed the start of the Mayor's Youth Council, but it is up and running again. So Wednesday of this week is our first Mayor's Youth Council meeting, which has representatives from Wabash, Southwood, and Woodfield departments. So that's a great experience for those students. We also had our first FAFSA night. So October 1st is the first date for FAFSA can be filed, and these are previous year's tax returns. I believe we had 16 students who applied for the Lilly, and so that required FAFSA. And we had another 13 students show up for the parent-teacher conference night, which was also the FAFSA night. So I'd say we have about at least 30 of them completed, which is about 25% of our class, and we're still in the month of October. So compliments to Manchester University who comes to help with that. My guidance counselors do a lot as well, so compliments to them. And then I was really excited FedEx showed up today and had monitors for our new engineering computer lab. So we've been using some outdated equipment for a while now, but it looks like the new stuff is showing up, so I'm pretty excited about that. I don't think Mr. Denny's seen it yet. That's all I have.
I got some stuff. Carrying on with that, I didn't see FedEx show up at my building yet. But using some funds and Mr. Mayor pulling some strings, we're able to get our own set of laptops to use for our robotics classes. So we won't have to share one space. And Mr. Lay and Mrs. Fairchild do not have to arm wrestle to see who gets to use the computer. So that's going to be a big deal for our kids in terms of what we can do with robotics one, robotics two. So that's pretty exciting stuff. Brody and I were fortunate enough to go on a trip to California, and if you can't be inspired in Santa Monica, I don't think you can be inspired anywhere. It's beautiful out there. Visiting those schools and the one in Chicago really impacted us in terms of sustainability. And so we did write a grant. In fact, the USDA just purchased a whole bunch of seeds for us to start. And if you cruise past the baseball field, I was able to twist some arms and not sure how it was gone. So they kind of graded it for us and didn't even realize that they were doing that for us. But there's going to be a really nice native plant section out there. So we're working on that and received some grant monies for that. Letting the cat out of the bag. This one's pretty exciting for us. We got a $5,000 grant from Community Foundation just awarded about a week or so ago to continue with that process. And so we have, we sat down, how long ago was the, 2 weeks ago that we had the e-learning day, PDA. We sat down with our science and social studies groups, teachers, and just really started planning out a lot of good cross-curricular things. So with this $5,000, we hope to bring in a couple of greenhouses with the ultimate goal of making a very nice outdoor science learning center that we use across the country. So we're pretty pumped about that. That's a lot of money. So Brody and I are excited to be spending it. It's fun to spend some money. Also last week, right before break, our 8th graders did their community service, which I know some of these guys got to do. They were in 8th grade, but so we did push that community service piece quite a bit. The 8th graders went down and they covered that well with our former teachers, so it makes it a little nice connection for us. And they actually looked at the new park just down there. And Caracas Week spent the entire day Friday before break, spreading mulch, cleaning, and doing a lot of things to help out. So, am I missing anything, Mr. Will?
Rockets.
What's that?
Rockets?
Oh, that was a blast, yeah. We went out to the airport. Jeff Traver called and said, hey, we want to get some kids out here and start doing some things. What do you think? And we came up with the idea of launching some rockets. And so that was really fun for me. Hopefully everyone here has seen all of them once or twice. And they got all the stuff out on the table and we got to bring this guy home. And so pretty much the approach I took to it. So for a week, and every morning I had 26 kids that were building rockets that got absolutely no help from any adults or anyone else. And so they had a kit, and we dumped everything out on the table and said, you guys go at it. So they created these rockets. I know I didn't take you to do this, I see it. But we went out to the airport and shot those off. And it was really fun. And most of them worked. And that's something we want to do again. We appreciate that. The Aviation Association out there. They gave us a fantastic launch pad. I think it was a great experience for the kids. Lots of good stuff. And we get our gym open tomorrow for our PE classes. I know Matt's excited about basketball practice. But our PE kids, I think, are pretty excited too. They were shivering a little bit this morning. Today wasn't so bad, but I don't know that it's going to stay that way. We're pretty excited to get them in there and start using that facility. It really looks pretty cool in there. You guys saw it tonight. It's pretty neat to see it come together. So, yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
So at OJ, tomorrow night we have the National Elementary Honor Society induction ceremony, and it's at 6 o'clock in the gymnasium at OJ. We have 21 members that will be inducting this year. And last week before fall break, we held elections. Each candidate stood up and gave a speech before all the members, and then the members were able to vote. So our officers are Kendall Blocker as president, Bailey Nolan as vice president, Emily Strickler as secretary, and Noah White as treasurer. We will have our first official meeting this Thursday morning. The criteria for a member would be, this year was set for all days in the first grade period. So every member who's being inducted has achieved that. They had a very rigorous application process that they had to do, and then they had to get 2 letters of recommendations from teachers and staff members, and present that to the advisory committee. So very proud of them. They've done a great job in the past when we've had our ceremonies. We've had the ceremony itself and the refreshments because of the virus. We will just be having the ceremony and then so we'd love for everybody to come. Also, we wanted at OJ to extend our thanks to the community for the support over the loss of one of our students. It was a really rough day there before fall break. We had counselors from Middleton, we had local pastors, some of our staff put together an individual that was on the parking lot. Students are hurting, staff are hurting, but we have had so much support from the community, board members, staff and other buildings that we're very much appreciative of. And that's from all the staff and students that are doing. So thank you.
Thanks, Beth.
I don't have a whole lot. I think our kids were ready to come back. We lost one in dual immersion to game 2 with 30 dual immersion. It's just nice to be back and they're all rested and here we go.
I think you're up, Mr. Blossom.
All right. Mr. Callahan asked me to do a sort of brief presentation about some reorganization that we've been working on since Wabash High School and our pathway programs. Those of you that are familiar with Wabash High School know we have a lot of different pathways at the time, and it can be a little confusing because we have pathways that we want students to choose areas of interest. We have graduation pathways, other pathways that I can get to college. So when we say the word pathway, it really confuses things for a lot of people. They really don't know what we're talking about. For our purposes at Wabash High School, we've been working on organizing into schools similar to what a university or college would do. So we're up to about, I think, 7 now different schools. So a school of business is one we have here. We also have a school of education, school of applied skills and technology. We're looking at language school as well. We have an engineering school of engineering, school of health science and nursing. All of these different programs. Some of them represent new opportunities for our students that will implement beginning for the 21-22 school year. I think the language is a ways out there because we don't really have much need for that. And a lot of those new immersion kids, eventually, as they come up to the high school and middle school, they'll need some opportunities along those lines as well. So, out in the future, so what we're looking at, really, I'm just going to go through 3 of these. Like I said, there's 7. Some of them we're still have some adjustments to make over time. All of these are really drafts as we work through with the high school administration and our folks at IB Tech to make sure that everything aligns. So School of Business is pretty exciting because it includes the Incubator EDU program and Accelerator EDU program. And what we're able to do in working with IB Tech, so basically this is school pathway, you can read it, lays out what we do in School of Business. But what we're looking at is almost a career center model for each of these schools. Those of you that are familiar with Career Center know that we have students that go into the Career Center for half a day for a program. So what we're looking to do with these, and with incubator and accelerator, is use that same sort of model. And we're still kind of working through the details of that and how much time do we need for these particular programs. But in this case, this is an out-of-the-box program that includes basically everything in business, from starting a business, running a business, the accounting courses, the business courses, the marketing courses. All of those things are included in this particular program. So we're working very closely with Ivy Tech and Mrs. Tracy, spending some time in looking at that curriculum that we get from the accelerating people, and then the curriculum for dual credit courses that we offer from Ivy Tech Community College. We'll align those to make sure that we're covering everything so that we can offer dual credit as part of the incubator accelerator program, which for our students is really beneficial because they get a kind of a holistic, conceptual approach to starting their own business and running their own business that makes sense and flows. And they also could get a technical certificate in business administration from Ivy Tech Community College at the same time. Some of the courses that they need for this program are already offered at Wabash High School, and then some of them will be new as we're getting this business program. So as we can see, just a general idea of what we're working through. This is the normal graduation requirements that a student would have to get for this business pathway. These are courses that are proposed here for the first couple. But then everything that a student needs for a business administration technical certificate from Ivy Tech Community College is listed here. These courses, the accounting, business, marketing, and both courses here, that's like business applications. So it's Microsoft, integrated Microsoft Office, basically, that it stands alone. But everything else here is incorporated into these particular programs, including these as well. Econ, English, and political science are already offered at Wabash High School anyway. But we may throw Econ into this program as well, just 3 or 4 times a day, which makes perfect sense. So through this program that we have that are specific to business administration, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 that are additional courses that go along with this. Now, this is a really important program because we need business professionals in Wabash County, obviously, the business professionals we need everywhere else. And the state has recognized this as well. So this program is eligible for vocational dollars from the state of Indiana. And this is considered a high reimbursement level. So for each student that we put that chooses to be in this program, we get additional money from the state, which for this program, the way that we have it set up now, makes it a self-sustaining program. So it's, when we look at the dollars and cents of it, right now we're using largely people from the community. We hope to continue to use people from the community for this program, but if we have to hire teachers in the future for this program, this is stuff that could be covered in that money, the extra money that we generate. And most everything that I've been working on that represents new programs for Wabash City Schools has that component. Some of them are reimbursed at a higher level than others, but that's based on the number of jobs that are available in the state of Indiana. The business pathway tends to get funded very, very well. There's no business people to hire lobbyists. Lobbyists give money. And so things like needs in business tend to get attention from the legislature. So that helps. So another program, I don't want to go too long, that I'm really excited about is we have a couple of education programs. And as you know, we have difficulty finding teachers. And we have difficulty in our community with childhood education and child care as well. So we're working on an education pathway for Wabash High School students that will take place here in the LH Carpenter Early Learning Center and also at OJ. So this will also be a 2-year program, but it's set up, there's not as many courses as there are for business, but for the early childhood program, we can have students take human development, advanced nutrition and wellness, and then participate in the CDA early childhood education program that includes all of these courses that are all early childhood. So when they go through this program, they earn a child development associates, which is what's needed to work in this building, for example. So Mrs. Wilson will tell you that if she wants to hire anybody, they either have, there's a certain percentage of her staff that have that certificate. She would prefer that 100% of her teachers have that particular certificate. But our students, by participating in this program, can have that in hand when they graduate high school. And if they want to start a career then in early childhood education, they can start it right here at the Early Childhood Center, which is really a great thing for our community and a great thing for Wabash City Schools as well. These programs are also eligible for vocational dollars. This is a little bit different. There is a CDA program that takes place at the Career Center as well. The distinguishment between what happens at the Career Center and what would happen in this program is that this is a direct dual credit program through Ivy Tech College. What they do at Heartland Career Center is called an informal CDA. For licensure, it's the same, but we're early college high school, so it's really important for us that our students are able to do credit. And then they can transfer that credit directly into Ivy Tech if we have students that offer an associate's degree in early childhood education. This is really good for our students, especially early childhood education isn't a field that compensates very well. So we wouldn't recommend, for example, we had a student want to go into that, but they had to take out $40,000 in student loans to be an early childhood education. That doesn't make sense. It really doesn't, because it takes a long time to pay those back based on the salary that they. But if you can get a CDA here, work through this for free when they're a high school student, that's money they wouldn't have to spend on that education. And also, there are a lot of schools that will pay for those teachers to finish those degrees with this associates as well. So that's something that we've always do at Wabash City Schools. For example, we pay for teachers to get master's degrees to teach them at Wabash High School. But this is really exciting. A similar program for OJ Neighbors as well. We feel great about it as educators. We want to provide opportunities. We really find students that we can be great teachers, and by virtue of some of these programs, we can encourage them to become teachers and make a good living at hopefully here in Wabash City Schools. There's a lot more, but we're going to get late. I don't know. If I did this 7 more times, anyways, if you have any questions, feel free to like to sit down with you. It's really exciting stuff.
I'd just like to, again, thank Josh for working on these schools. I think the biggest key is awareness of this, getting this, and we really, once they're all built out, we need to go on a marketing campaign so that parents, students, the community is aware of what is offered. Because again, and we're getting recognition throughout the state for early college and working pathways, and so we just got to get that messaging out to everybody.
And along those lines, so those documents basically was all the same. Mr. Wheelan, we got the Reckoning grant. We have money for marketing materials that would include all of this information in there as well. So we're working through those things, and we should have that stuff in place. Really, the front lines of the success of these programs gets to that communication. We're really blessed to have a strong administration and guidance team at Wabash High School. They're the ones that have to have all those conversations with the students and help steer them in the right direction. So I think that's strength is going to pay dividends in the marketing as well. Of course, as much face time as we can give with parents.
Thank you. Mrs. Tracy.
Give an update on curriculum across the district. We successfully completed our very first round of training with secretarial staff, and it was a huge success. Today we did day 1 of 3 for our second round, so we're excited to do that. And then the next 2 weeks we'll finish up that in-person training and work on how we're going to get the rest of our 98 teachers trained in GCO. Also, entrepreneurship and club officially starts next week. Myers has 12 kids that are going to participate in that club, and they will participate in the Innovate Then Pitch this coming spring. So we're excited for those kids to get started with that. And then to look forward to next year and how that specific club will become a graduate requirement. Also, High-Ability, this is in Eddingfield, the High-Ability District. And I have been working closely together to design our High-Ability program for kindergarten through 12th grade. As required by the state, there are 5 plans that each school corporation must submit, and we don't have any of those plans currently in other city schools. So we will be designing a committee that will involve board members, teachers, administrators, parents, and a few students, and then we'll also design a working committee to help us put that work together to present it to that body. Oh, no, one more thing. Apple PD at OJ Neighbors this Thursday. Apple will be providing professional development for clients for every grade level. I believe next week is middle school and then upper school. So we'll do our professional development. Thank you.
Again, that incubator program fits right into the School of Business. But again, students have the ability, this year it's a club, juniors and seniors have the opportunity to basically develop their own business and earn up to $2,500 prize locally. And then if they compete in the state competition, can win up to $25,000 if they're the state winner. So significant dollars for students, and also it teaches them how to run a business, do a business model.
Thank you. Any other items from visitors? You may ask a question.
I'm just curious, when school started back in August, if there was a plan in place for COVID-19 and what's going to happen when we have some positive cases come up?
There was a plan that was put together with the administration and the leadership team that is posted on our website that explains the different criteria that the school system would follow. But I think everybody understands that that is fluid and based on circumstances could certainly change as circumstances change with COVID. But the information is available on our website.
Okay, so same information that's been available on the website is not the same information the parents are receiving, and every day we're receiving different emails on when our kids can return.
Have you addressed this through the school principals or through the superintendent? Have you met with them to discuss that with them? The reason I ask is Wabash City Schools does have a policy with issues that folks have that they need to address that with their building principals to get resolution to that. If they don't get resolution there, then they need to meet with the superintendent to try to get resolution to that issue. That's
why I asked if I could use like that.
yes, yes.
Thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions from the visitors? All right. If not, items from board members. Bill?
Happy to be back to work for the next 14 months or so. Rhonda?
I wanted to say that I went to the middle school for the parent-teacher conferences, and I was really excited by Mr. Cook, and he was filling me in on his plans for the nature study center, and so that was exciting. And then I also got to meet with the Japanese teacher. I can't think of his name right now.
Mr.
Chittenden.
Yeah.
And he was pretty exciting. I mean, I was excited to meet with him. And
A lot of energy.
yeah, so we have some neat programs that are pretty cool. And I think never mind. But yes, that's it.
Okay. Tony?
Heartland Career Center is going well. 600 students approximately. They were asked to do a presentation, teachers and students at Indianapolis, on the new Precision Ag program. It's a leading program, first in its First type at the high school level in the Midwest. And looking forward to new things, looking at additional classes and coming up in the future. A lot of grant applications out. If we get those grants, we'll keep moving on elsewhere. And they've had some struggles as well with COVID. It's just something you deal with, and it's hard. But we'll get through it.
Stephen? I don't have anything either. Yes, you may.
I do want to say that we see you. I'm so sorry that your season ended this way. I think we all are, and we do commend you on a great season that you did have. So, I'm sorry it ended this way. I just wanted to add that.
I would accept a motion to adjourn.
So,
Second.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Okay. I always feel naked without a pen. I didn't have a pen on me, and I'm going to gather signatures.
Start signing. I got it.